Is the Cold War between the Sussexes and the royal family finally thawing? For years, the world has watched the rift between Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and the House of Windsor deepen. It's been a saga marked by bombshell interviews, a tell-all book, and a steady stream of accusations that have rattled the monarchy. But now, the narrative seems to be shifting, with reports swirling that the couple is ready to change their approach. Suddenly, the public attacks have quieted down. A reunion, once thought impossible, now feels like it could actually happen. But in a story where every move is put under a microscope, you have to ask, is this a genuine attempt at peace, or just a strategic retreat to rescue a battered public image and pave the way for a UK comeback? We're going to break down what's really happening behind the scenes, separating the hard facts from the carefully crafted fiction to figure out if this is a true reconciliation or just the next play in a masterful PR game. For the first time in a long time, there's a noticeable silence from Montecito. The constant barrage of revelations that defined the post-Megxit era seems to have stopped. This apparent ceasefire has caught the attention of royal watchers, and some experts think it signals a major change in the Sussexes' strategy. Royal commentator Duncan Larcombe, a journalist who has followed the princes for years, has been particularly vocal about this. He recently told media outlets that he believes the Sussexes have consciously stopped their attacks on the royals. In his view, there isn't the anger and bitterness anymore. This perspective suggests Harry and Meghan are trying to move past the grievances that were aired so publicly in their Netflix series and Harry's explosive memoir, Spare. It's a bold claim, especially after years of damaging accusations, from claims of racism within the family to a profound lack of support that left the couple feeling isolated. Those revelations created a chasm that seemed impossible to bridge. The idea that all this animosity has just vanished feels, to many, a little too neat. So what's behind this new story of peace? A genuine change of heart? Or is something else at play? The evidence for this supposed truce isn't in an official statement or a public apology. Instead, it's being pieced together through subtle changes in tone and, most importantly, Prince Harry's recent trips to the UK, which are being presented as the clearest sign yet that a thaw is underway. To get to the truth of this reconciliation, we have to look past the headlines at what actually happened. Prince Harry has made two very significant and very different trips to the UK recently. The first was a dramatic, last-minute flight across the Atlantic in February 2024, just hours after Buckingham Palace announced King Charles' cancer diagnosis. Harry rushed to his father's side for a private meeting at Clarence House. This was the moment many hoped would spark a real healing. And yet, the highly anticipated reunion was incredibly brief. Media reports suggest the meeting lasted only about 30 to 45 minutes before the king and queen left for Sandringham, so the monarch could rest. While it was a crucial first step, it was hardly the long, heart-to-heart conversation people had hoped for. The second visit came in May 2024, when Harry returned to London for a service at St. Paul's Cathedral celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Invictus Games. This trip felt profoundly different. Despite being in the UK for a major event he founded, Harry did not meet with his father. A spokesperson for the Duke explained that a meeting wasn't possible because of His Majesty's full schedule. More telling, perhaps, was that Prince William was also absent from the Invictus service. Harry attended alone, a solitary figure that visually underscored his distance from the royal fold. Just a few miles away, the king was hosting the first garden party of the season at Buckingham Palace, surrounded by other senior royals. The split-screen moment was impossible to ignore. This is where the media narrative gets a bit blurry. Some reports tend to blend details from different visits, painting a picture of seamless reunions. The reality is far more complicated. The February meeting was a brief, dutiful visit driven by a health crisis. The May visit, on the other hand, highlighted the deep divides that still exist, especially between Harry and his brother. With a clearer picture of what happened, the big question is why. What's behind this apparent shift? Is it a genuine desire for family unity, or is it a calculated rebranding effort? There are good arguments for both. First, the argument for a genuine reconciliation. The clear catalyst here is King Charles's health. In an interview with ABC's Good Morning America after his February visit, Harry was asked if illness could have a reunifying effect on a family. His response was direct, absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure. He then added, I love my family. The fact that I was able to get on a plane and go and see him and spend any time with him, I'm grateful for that. Those aren't the words of a man still on the warpath. They sound like a son grappling with his parents' mortality. A serious health scare can put old fights into perspective, and for Harry, it's possible the reality of his father's illness has simply overshadowed past grievances. Now, for the other side of the coin, the strategic PR move. The last few years have been tough for the Sussexes' public image, especially in the UK. YouGov polls have consistently shown their popularity at rock-bottom levels. A poll from April 2026 found that only 30% of Britons have a positive view of Harry, with Meghan's favorability even lower at just 20%. While they do better with younger Britons, they remain deeply unpopular with the British public overall. That has real consequences. The Sussex brand, built on global appeal, can't afford to be permanently cut off from the UK and the Commonwealth. Constant attacks on the monarchy may have reached a point of diminishing returns, risking their credibility and making their commercial ventures less appealing. Seen this way, a reconciliation tour makes perfect strategic sense. It reframes their story from confrontation to healing. This shift also seems to be throughout this entire drama. Meghan Markle has been a central figure, and her role in this supposed truce is the most scrutinized part of all. To her critics, she's the architect of the royal rift. To her supporters, she's the victim who was run out by a hostile institution. Where she stands now is key to understanding what comes next. Lately, Meghan's focus has been on launching her new lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard. The brand appeared on Instagram in March 2024 with a slick, vintage-style video of Meghan arranging flowers and cooking in her Montecito home. The account blew up, gaining hundreds of thousands of followers almost instantly. But since that initial splash, things have gone quiet. Limited edition jars of strawberry jam were sent to influencers, but there's been no official product launch for the public. This cautious rollout is a world away from the explosive media launches of their past. It suggests a more measured, long-term plan, less about grabbing immediate headlines and more about carefully building a brand. However, speculation about her motives continues to swirl. Tabloid reports, which should always be taken with a huge grain of salt, often suggest that while Harry seeks peace, Meghan remains wary of the royal family. Some anonymous insiders have even claimed that Harry is open to a part-time royal role, a move Meghan is said to be against. These are unverified claims, but they feed a powerful narrative that casts Meghan as the main obstacle to a full reunion. A truce takes two. While the Sussexes might be signaling peace, the royal family's response has been, in classic palace style, much harder to read. Their motto has always been never complain, never explain, and they aren't about to issue a press release announcing a reconciliation. The most significant positive gesture came from King Charles himself. By agreeing to meet with Harry in February, even briefly, the king kept the door open. It was a fatherly act that showed a willingness to engage. On a personal level, it's the clearest sign that the king wants a relationship with his son. However, the silence from other parts of the palace is deafening. The rift between Prince Harry and his brother, Prince William, remains the single biggest hurdle. There have been no public signs of a thaw between them. They haven't been seen speaking in years, and William's pointed absence from Harry's recent UK events speaks volumes. For many insiders, a true reconciliation is impossible until the bond between Diana's sons is repaired, and right now, that seems more distant than ever. The institution itself, the firm, also seems wary. The chaos of the Sussexes' exit is still a fresh wound. Reports suggest that the idea of Harry and Meghan returning in any official capacity triggers alarm bells for Palisades, who fear a repeat of the drama. The family may be willing to forgive, but the institution is unlikely to forget. With the battle lines redrawn as a fragile truce, what happens next? A full UK reunion, especially one including Meghan and their children, Archie and Lilibet, is full of challenges. Harry has said he wants his children to know their heritage and have a relationship with their UK family. But security remains a huge sticking point. In February 2024, Harry lost his legal challenge against the government's decision to remove his automatic police protection in the UK. His security is now decided on a case-by-case basis, a situation he says makes it difficult to bring his family back safely. So, could we see a return to a half-in, half-out royal role? Highly unlikely. The late Queen Elizabeth II was firm that you couldn't be a part-time working royal, and King Charles has shown no sign of reversing that. The most realistic path forward seems to be a personal one. We might see Harry making more frequent, private trips to the UK to visit his father. A family gathering for a private event, like a big birthday or a holiday at Balmoral, seems more plausible than a public appearance on the Buckingham Palace balcony. The goal seems to be a family reconciliation, not an institutional one, an attempt to repair the bonds between father, son, and maybe even brother, separate from the duties of the monarchy. So where does that leave us? The truce appears to be real, at least in the sense that the public attacks have stopped. This seems partly driven by Prince Harry's genuine desire to reconnect with his sick father, a deeply human response to a family crisis. On the other hand, it's impossible to ignore the strategic upside of this newfound peace. With their UK popularity at an all-time low and new business ventures on the horizon, shifting from confrontation to reconciliation is a very smart PR move. It helps rehab their image and makes their brand more globally appealing. The profound silence from Prince William and the logistical hurdles of security show just how deep the rift remains. Is this a genuine olive branch or a calculated PR move? The truth is, it can be both. It can be a sincere attempt at family healing that also happens to align perfectly with a necessary brand reset. The jury is still out, but one thing is certain: the world will be watching their next move. Let us know your final verdict in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into what's really happening behind palace walls.